we're about to go somewhere odd now. Times to rise and elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll probably see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is podcast hell.
Oh, you know what? I gotta raise my chair.
I only raised my.
I have no status on my own podcast.
So sorry. It's just so uncomfortable sometimes when I have to. Go up. I'm just one of those people that I like. I have really long legs.
Yeah.
Right. Like my torso is exceptionally small.
Yes.
Right? And my legs are really long and my arms are really long. So whenever I sit in chairs, I have to like raise them all the way up because then my feet, it's going to feel like my feet are like up here and it just feels weird.
Okay. No, that's fair.
It feels weird. Yeah. So sorry.
I thought you were going to say like your feet would like, you have to like bend your legs more because you have long
Oh no,
legs.
It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how else. Saying it's uncomfortable just makes me seem weak. That's why I have to explain. It's like, listen, I have really long legs. This happens, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I try to make it sound as medical as possible.
Listen, I 100% understand what you're saying because I have like ADHD, but I just feel like everybody has a thing now.
Yeah.
So I don't like saying that.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, sometimes my brain doesn't focus, so I need to take meth.
Yeah.
To do a better job at work. I'd rather say it like that than just be like,
maybe I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
Like Adderall's just meth?
Yes, it's meth.
Wow.
Methamphetamine.
Wow.
It even says that like on the like bottle when you get medicine. It says like methamphetamine.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny bit of meth.
Wow.
Just a drop.
It just slows you down or something? Because
I think it makes you able to focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it does.
Maybe it's like a drop of meth. Maybe a drop of meth. Dang, so if meth addicts would just do like instead of doing all the way this, maybe if they just did just a little, just put your thumb a little bit, just a little bit. Then
they would have done better at their jobs.
You won't lose your teeth. You won't have to sell your couch. Like it's a whole thing if they just would have. That is weirdly the most hilarious revelation I just realized.
Yeah, I think the idea with the ADHD medicine is like it helps you. Maybe it does help you like slow down your brain more so that you're not as distracted by stuff. So So I guess maybe it is slowing you down because that is I work remote at my job now.
Yeah,
and that's the hardest part is I'm at a computer and I also do comedy, so I have like other computers set up doing like comedy shit while I'm doing work stuff. So I'm like, my brain is just like, I'll start watching a YouTube video. It'll be like an hour. I'll be like, oh, fuck, I haven't done anything for my job.
I get it.
So I definitely have to and I started to like get in trouble at work. So then So then I went to the doctor and I was like, drugs, please.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. I would say when I first started I was working from home before the pandemic. So when I first started working from home, I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to drive. Because I used to have to drive to Santa Monica. My first job out here, I was living in like Studio City, Valley Village area, like above the mountain. I would have to drive to Redondo Beach every single day. So that was like an hour and a half sometimes every day, hour and a half back.
Yeah.
So when I would just start working remote, I'm like, this is perfect. And then, like you said, I would have my work computer right in front of me and then my regular computer right there. And every now and then I would get in this loop of YouTube.
Yeah.
Of like just constant, I'm just clicking on a different thing. One time I was just watching I just binged the show season one time. And you're right. One time I didn't get in trouble. I almost got in trouble where it's like one of those things where it was one of the situations where I had a meeting at like 1. A meeting at 1. Something that should have been done, and I had to like act like I was sick. Essentially, I had to send an email and be like, "Hey, I'm not feeling too well. I'm gonna have to take the rest of the day off, but let's push the meeting back to like tomorrow." But in reality, I just didn't do anything that day.
Yeah, I feel like we all like. I can definitely. I don't think I'd ever want to go back to going into work. Also, because like it's nice to go home. My family is on the East Coast. We can I can go hang out over there for like a month and still not have to take time off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the other day I watched like 3 hours of like X-Pac's greatest matches in WWE, and I was like, look, I like X-Pac. There's nothing against him. I'm not shitting on him.
So
but like, there's no reason
There's
for me
no-
to be behind on work.
There's no value in that.
Yeah, to just like really catch up on him and Kane as tag team champions.
You had 1, 2, 3 Kid, then you had X-Pac, then you had Shawn when he came back to the Wait, whoever he was in WCW, I don't remember. 1, 2, 3 Kid, and then he left to WCW.
I can't remember who
and then
was
he
at
like
WCW.
bounced around or whatever, and then he came back.
Yeah.
And he was part of D-Generation X, and he was X-Pac. He would and then he would jump and do the X and cool, and he was just there.
Tell people to suck it.
Yeah, tell people to suck it. And then you're right, he was with Kane, which was a weird...
But it worked so
But
well.
it worked.
Big guy, little guy.
Yeah, big guy, little guy
sweet.
worked perfectly.
And you remember, there was a moment, I think it's I put it on Instagram a couple days ago, but it was when Kane had never spoken words. And so X-Pac put a microphone in front of him. He was like, Kane's got 2 words for you if you're not down with us as champions. And then Kane's first words were suck it. And he's like, suck it. And the crowd goes as wild as any crowd has ever gone.
In the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah,
It was
interesting.
so good.
That era of wrestling was so phenomenal.
Yeah.
That when you look at it now, it's like, no disrespect to them now,
Yeah.
but you're watching it and I'm like, this isn't, there's a level of edge that's missing in my opinion, where everything is so big and why the era of wrestling now is like the era of wrestling before the Attitude Era, where everything was big, everything was gold, everything was cartoonish.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to. Side note, if we're going behind the curtain, they purposely made it PG because it used to be PG-13, and that's why they used to have the bikini contest and stuff like that.
It used to be fucking R.
It used to be rated R.
It used to be
it used to be PG-13 in the sense of everyone knew what was going on, but they would have to use kind of innuendo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now they just want to keep it at PG. Because then they can go to France, then they can do this, then they can do that, then they have more sponsors.
Yeah, it's I get why it's we don't have to talk about wrestling the whole time, but
I know.
But no, there's some wild storylines.
There was Val Venus was a porn star.
Edge had sex with Lita in the middle of the ring one time.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I remember that.
He got championship sex.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The Undertaker tried to kill 12 people.
Yeah.
He actually hung Big Boss Man at the end of Raw one night.
I remember that.
Hung him.
I remember that.
And then he's Boss Man was swinging.
Yeah.
And then it ended.
Yeah.
I was 8.
Yeah.
And I had to have my dad explain to me that a man wasn't just murdered on Raw. It was fucking
I remember
crazy.
that. They would, yeah. I never even, now that I'm really thinking about it, man, it was kind of rated R. Yeah.
Yeah, Undertaker buried Stephanie McMahon. I've been watching a lot of YouTube at work. He buried Stephanie McMahon alive.
Oh, wow.
He also strapped her to a cross and tried to marry her.
I remember that because that's when Stone Cold interrupted and just started smashing everyone in the head with chairs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and that was fun. But dang, I remember that. Yo, those storylines were wild.
They really were.
They were wild, but they were are they better than they are now?
I mean, now you also some of the risks they took. I'm not. There's stuff that they just did stuff you can't do now. They did race stuff. They did.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear Patrice talk about writing for it? Patrice O'Neal
Wrote for WWE.
Yeah, for
send me that link
for
later.
3 weeks.
Oh, for 3 weeks.
But he has a story about Vince McMahon and D'Lo Brown that's very funny and very telling of the time.
Yeah.
Where it was I think I'm gonna fucking butcher it, but it's Vince McMahon wanted him to play a terrorist or something. Mm-hmm. He was put on a turban and do all this stuff. And then D'Lo Brown was no, this is pretty offensive. I don't know if I can do this. And Vince McMahon was yeah, put on the fucking turban or you're fired. And like that became a thing for D'Lo Brown for like an entire year.
Oh,
but
wow.
back then it was like Vince McMahon would just like write everything, had final say on it, and then would just be like, yeah, do it or you're gone. I don't really give a shit.
He still technically does nowadays.
I think he's gone now.
No, he's back.
I thought he was gone after coming back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he got in trouble again.
He got in trouble again? I know he came back, fired the board because he came back during their transition before because they were trying to get sold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
Oh, so he's back now.
He's back. He's still running WWE.
But he's not like, okay.
Because they're in the process of combining WWE with UFC, which is not smart. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
What?
You didn't? WWE got bought
by UFC?
By the company that owns UFC.
How are they going to make it the same?
Because they're not like, oh, you think it's like, you're thinking technical, like, oh, well, UFC is actual sport and WWE is just entertainment.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't.
Oh, but
they don't care.
When you say they're going to try to make it the same thing,
it's going to be under the same company.
Okay, all right.
WWE and UFC will be the same company. One will be beating each other half to death in an octagon, and the other will be, Stone Cold. He's back. He's
my brother did a little bit of UFC fighting.
Oh, really? Professional or like just training?
No, like training. But I think he had like some sparring matches.
Okay.
He said he was like 4-0, but I don't know. He could be bullshitting.
Could be lying.
But like, I remember he was like making the argument that it wasn't as dangerous as some other sport, and I was like, wait, you're talking about UFC, right? And he's like, yeah, it's really not that dangerous. There's a ref there. It's very moderate. And like, as he's saying that, we were watching a match where a dude was just getting like fucking like hammers to the back of the head. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
In boxing, when you get hit down, that's it. In UFC, when you get hit and you fall down, you're supposed to jump on them and just continue beating.
Keep talking. I got to get to
just in case. You know what I mean? It's wild.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
I remember like for a long time I couldn't.
Hey, dog.
Yeah, he just says what's up.
No, you're good.
Is it okay? But you said you kind of made it like you don't love dogs.
I don't love dogs. I don't hate dogs. Do I absolutely love them? No, your dog is chill. Right? Just smelling me.
Gordon, you want pets? Is that what you're looking for?
He wants it. It's a boy?
It's a boy.
Okay. Okay. I don't know much about dogs. Yeah. I'm assuming this is not a purebred?
No, he's
he's a mix between a pit bull and something else?
We don't really know. I mean, we rescued him.
Oh, okay. How'd you rescue him? What do you mean you rescued him?
Volcano. He was just dangling on the top. I grabbed him like the end of cliffhanger, but I was able to pull him up. We went to a fucking place.
Listen,
we gave him $50, and they were like, "He's yours."
I will say this: I deserve that. Okay, that's very fair. That was a very fair explanation of me asking that silly question.
No,
that's
he was. Yeah, we met him. He was very cute.
Yeah. And was he small or was he that size?
No, so we got him. He was like 4, and that was 4 years ago. So now he's like 8 or 9.
Oh, okay.
We don't really know how old he is.
Oh yeah, they can only do like a quick bone test or something like that to see how old the dog is or something like that.
And they fudge it to try to make the dogs more adoptable. So they're like 3 to 4, and you're like, he's 4.
Yeah,
and they have like nice ways of like they'll be like, this dog really likes it when they're an only child in the house. And you're like, this dog will eat a chihuahua. So they like kind of like cute it up.
That's interesting.
When you go to when you go to a rescue, if you go to a pound, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to kill all of them today. So just take one.
So pick one.
They're in the cages over there.
Yeah. Okay, so you went to a place where they kept them in like open space and stuff like that, or like how does that work?
I mean, it was this place called Angel City Pit Bulls. So he still had like a crate or a cage.
So he is a pit bull.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because in my
but-
mind, I'm looking at it and I'm like, it looks like a pit bull, and I'm not, no disrespect to your dog.
You keep calling
But
him
it's a little like a little. Yeah, you're right.
I'm looking at it.
I'm sorry. Sometimes
all
I don't
right.
know the
It's all-
difference.
it's all
I'm
good.
looking at him,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he looks like a pit bull, but I've never seen a pit bull like up close. I'm assuming pit bulls are like these muscular,
They're very
behemoths. Yeah. So, and your dog is like he has happy weights on, like he just got married.
Now he is.
a year ago.
Here's the thing. Like he's a kind dog. He's never been shitty with people. Well, one time. Like one time he got pet. Like he had a cancer thing.
Yeah.
And then somebody pet him on his cancer spot, which probably
yeah.
hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Rah!" And we were all like, whoa.
Yeah.
So like when we go to he hates the vet, so like he'll get shitty with the vet, but like he definitely could fuck people up.
Yeah, if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Do you think he's one of those like UFC fighters that walk around and be like, I could murder you, but I have chosen peace.
So my favorite I've chosen peace Gordon moment was we have a neighbor, very sweet lady, had a little cat, little kitten, and she like came over to Gordon. She's friendly. She's not being an asshole. But she brought the cat over and went like, "Does he like cats?" and just put the cat in his face. And he like backed up and made a growling noise. And she just didn't hear it or something, but she goes, "Aw," and then put the cat back in his face a second time. And it happened so quick, like I didn't have time to like pull him away. And so he just took his mouth and slowly opened it, put his entire mouth around the kitten and her hand, and just held it for like 2 seconds and then slightly opened it back. And the lady just pulled her hand back. The cat had like drool all over it.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, "We're going to go inside." So he just like placed.
Yeah.
Like,
that was.
I could kill.
I love.
Get it out of my face.
I love that.
That was
so
his move.
Much.
That was his move.
That was both frightening and so badass at the same time. Immediately, I respect your dog.
So he did it
immediately. He's getting a treat after that.
He
Like,
did it.
you know what?
We were so proud of him. He did it with when we took him home for COVID. We went on a cross country trip with us, and we went up to see Liz's nieces and nephews, and they had like a little one who was like 8 months old.
Yeah.
And we're like, he'll be fine. We hadn't really had him around kids yet, but his parents were cool with it. So we take him into the house, and like the second we look away, the baby like crawls up and just puts his full hand
In his mouth?
And we look over, and Gordon was just sitting there with his mouth open and the baby's hand. And we just take the baby's hand and pull it out of his mouth. And then he like, that was it.
That's good. I feel like.
So he's just like, he knows to take it easy, but I don't know. I've seen him at the vet, and he looks like when he's pissed and he's like trying to go after the vet, people are like, "Whoa, that's a fucking, you could kill."
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's fun. It makes it more fun.
Yeah. Your dog is someone who knows when to be the protector. Like one of those dogs, probably.
I think so. When we first got him, he would we lived in West Hollywood, so there was like an alley where homeless people would finger each other like 3 feet from our window. And so there was multiple times where we would wake up, and he sleeps in the bed, and he would just be up at full attention, staring out the window, growling. And we could hear somebody rummaging around close to our window, but he was just kind of like waking us up to be like, "There's somebody right here."
He was ready.
He's ready to go.
He was ready to go. That's cool. That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I want him to. Part of me wants like one of those like L.A., California serial killers to break in here. You know, like
Fuck around and find out.
BTK killer comes through and just my dog rips his dick off, and that's the
so
Wikipedia
funny.
page. Like my dog gets a line in the Wikipedia page for ripping the cock off.
It's not gonna be. It's gonna be a picture of you kneeling with your dog.
It's like this. You still got the dick hanging out of his
you with
mouth.
a thumbs up.
Like
That's so funny.
I caught a fucking fish.
Erick what's Bruno? Erick Hellwig with Bruno. Yeah, Bruno the Savage or something like that. Something fun.
Yeah. Who's Bruno?
What's his name?
Gordon.
Gordon. Why'd I call him Bruno?
Because you hate dogs.
No,
You
not
have a
like that.
deep-
I
a
have to
deep-
look in the camera now. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Unabiding. No, his name's Gordon.
Yeah, that actually happened at a mic one time. I won't say the name because I don't think. How long have you been here?
I've been here for 4 years.
4 years.
5 years.
Did you ever go
5
to a
years.
place called Next Stage?
No.
Okay, this was before you got here then. So, 2 comics. One still does comedy. One doesn't do comedy anymore. It's fine. Had 2 of them had dogs, right?
Hell yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No. Shout out to him. If he sees this,
Shout
he
out.
needs.
Hell yeah.
Hey, man. Listen.
We're not talking shit.
We're not talking shit.
Hell yeah.
You're invited on the show if you want to
Listen,
come by,
that's
say
the
what's
fact.
going on.
I'm not scared of him, but I am kind of. It's like one of those guys where I'm like, I don't want to mess with you. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, we got into it one time. Never mind. I'll tell this story, and then we talking about.
Hell yeah.
Do you know that you're carrying too much poop in your body and you would feel better if you got it out? I'm just kidding. This is still Eric. There's no ads on this podcast right now, but there is something you can do to help me out, which is right now on YouTube. Like this video and leave me a comment. It kicks it up in the algorithm, helps me get more subscribers, people that can find the content, and eventually, if you do this, I can get somebody on the podcast to actually sell you something that gets the poop out of your body. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video you're watching right now, and leave me a comment. I really appreciate it. Back to the show.
No, so he had a dog that when you look back on it, I'm like, oh, he rescued it, and it used to be a fighting dog. Like his ears were clipped.
Oh, yeah.
Like one of those dogs where it's like his ears were clipped. He was like, he was very calm, but like you could tell that he was abused, and he used to just be sent to illegal dog fights.
Yeah.
Like any dog fight's illegal, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
he liked to party.
yeah, basically. So she has like a dog that fits in her hand, right? And she sees this was right outside Next Stage. She's like, oh, our dogs should be friends. She takes her dog, just places it in front of that dog, growls for like 2 seconds, kills the dog. Yeah.
Kills the dog?
Her dog got murdered at an open mic.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was bad.
That's,
Yeah. It's dark.
It's dark.
Yeah. And it's like, wow. It was like one of those things where it's like, because I remember being around the guy's dog, and I'm like, this dog seems chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a weird, yeah.
And you know what?
Weird
Just
things.
even with that, that's probably like not even in the top 10 of craziest open mic stories
Of
I've
course
heard.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not even, there was a guy named Joker. You probably don't even remember him either.
Well, I think before you've even told the story,
Yeah.
if his name was Joker.
His name is Joker. He would dress up as the Joker.
Great.
Like not Jared Leto's Joker.
How is that not
The
countdown to being murdered?
Listen,
If you go to
the
open mics.
the things that we would put up with when I first got here is wilder than, because you look back and I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I go there? It's like one of those things like, why did I go to this? There was this mic where it's like, it was in a back alley behind a Food for Less. It was called Garage Mic.
Okay.
It was in someone's garage in the back alley behind a Food for Less. And now, of course, some of the friends I made at the Garage Mic are still my friends to this day. But the very first time I went, in my mind, I'm like, why am I literally walking down an alley? Just a dark alley. I have no idea. Literally, it was just that was when everyone used Comedy Bureau. Where it's like literally it's the address and then there are like instructions like, hey, this is a garage behind a back alley. The address was to the Food for Less. She's like, go to the back alley of the Food for Less, and it's the garage behind the back alley. And I went. It was a Saturday. It was like 8:00, and I went and I was walking down an alley.
Yeah, I think you just like in the beginning you're so you're just so fucking desperate for any stage.
Yeah.
That you're like,
Especially in LA.
I remember one time I did a show in Astoria where there was like, I was in a bar and the microphone didn't work and we were like, we're not doing the show. Like, it's like fucking happy hour. There's people are trying to hook up with their coworkers. Like, it's just
Yeah.
not going to happen. And the bartender was like, no, we'll still pay you. Like, we were going to pay like whatever they were going to pay us, like $30 a pop for me and two friends to do a show. And we were like, there's no mic. And they're like, hey, just stand at the end of the bar. And so we stood at the end of the bar and like basically yelled at people. Like, no microphone. Just like at a bar. Yeah, so my dad's kind of crazy. Like, doing that for an hour to get $20. It's like,
That was an hour show?
we each did 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And we record like somewhere on some old computer that's filled with porn and I had to replace. There's a tape of that show because we recorded it.
Wow.
And I remember sending it to the other two guys and being like, this is so bad. It's one of the funniest things ever to watch. There's like a guy in frame where I'm standing doing my act as close as you are to me with his back turned to me, just talking to someone. Full volume.
Oh, wow.
Like, doesn't realize that it's a show. He's literally a foot and a half
he just thinks
away.
you're being a jerk.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
It was intense. But
Yeah.
like stuff like that where like you don't have like enough whatever.
We don't have enough experience or wherewithal. We're so hungry for it.
Yeah.
When you're that hungry just to like do this craft.
People don't get the hunger.
People don't get the hunger.
Hungry like the wolf.
Bro, yeah. We would go. I remember open mics in LA used to be like a grind. Right? On a Sunday, I could hit 5 mics.
Yeah.
On a Sunday. I would go to this afternoon mic in someone's like backyard, right? And then right after that, I would go to Silver Lake Lounge. And Silver Lake Lounge, the afternoon mic was at like 2, right? And then it was from 2 to like 4. So then Silver Lake started at 5. So I'd have to wait an hour. And back then I was driving from Long Beach to Silver Lake area. So it's
this
like,
is when you were like,
I was living with my brother
Yeah.
at the time. So I can't drive back to Long Beach just to chill at home. So I literally would just like I would find a parking spot in Silver Lake and just sit there and just be on my phone. We'd do Silver Lake Lounge. Then I would drive downtown to Lexington. There was a place called the Lexington where they had a mic. And then right after that, I would go to, it was called Tumame's mic. It was in like East LA, like East LA, and across the street there was like a street festival every Sunday, right? And then Tumame's mic didn't have a lot of people, so I'd always be able to like sign up first or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had free French fries. And then I would go to the Improv because back then lab work was on Sundays from 10 p.m. to 1 p.m.
You've
to
told
1
me
a.m.
about that.
And that, if you hate improv now, you shut the fuck up and be exceptionally grateful.
Was anybody watching from the club at that mic?
The booker would be there for an hour and a half.
Okay.
For the first hour or so, he would be in the same spot watching the mic. He always had a seat. Like one time I accidentally sat there and they just like someone came behind me, tapped me, hey man, you got to get up. That's the booker's seat.
Yeah.
He always sat at the bar because it was in the lab. That's why they called it lab work.
It's very cool that like there's somebody there watching comics. Like that's not typical
That's not typical at all.
of any major club.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I roll with the Hollywood Improv. Are you from Texas, by the way?
Houston, born and raised.
Okay, I was gonna say the Texas plates on the car.
Yeah. My car will die a Texas car. I will not get it.
Did you buy it in Texas?
I bought it in Houston.
Okay.
Yes, 2014. I bought it in 2015. It's used.
What do you have to do to get those plates still here in LA? Do you have to drive it back to, like, how are you getting the plates renewed? Because also in California, they like, I thought they made you like get a new.
No, I've been pulled over one time and they were like, hey, your car's not like registered in Texas. And I was like, well, do you want me to drive all the way back? Because at that time I was still technically a traveling consultant.
Okay.
Where I would have to like, or it's like, and also I have a Texas ID. So I get around some of the like rules
There you
in
go.
California. Yeah, I can get around a lot of the rules here.
Yeah, because when when we came out here, they made us switch our shit right away because we had New York IDs and Maryland plates in the car.
Oh.
And they were like, "You're fucking 2 weeks." They're like, "You're California now, baby."
Yeah.
They just erased everything.
Yeah. And I remember the officer was like, "Hey, you should get a California ID," because I'm still registered to vote in Texas. Like I put in I just asked for a mail-in and I still vote. I still vote in like local elections, and I'm like,
"Do you really?
What is this? Yes, what is this mayor doing for my community? I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I want to mail me in. Because it's for this, it's easy because they just mail it. And I fill it out, and then it's free postage.
Do you think you'd ever go back to Texas?
Never in my life, no.
Okay.
When we make it,
yes,
right, I would probably just live in San Diego.
Okay, well, that's not attached to anything that we were talking about.
Yeah, no, you said if I'd ever move back to Texas.
Yeah, but San Antonio or
San Diego?
That's nowhere near Texas.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay.
I would never live in
Texas. But the way you're saying it sounds like you're saying it like you're like, "No, I wouldn't go to Texas. I'd go to San Diego, a place very close to Texas."
Oh, no, I meant like
you don't want to you would not you don't want to live in LA.
No.
But San Diego, what do you like about it? I like San Diego.
The weather is just good.
The weather's great, and it's like it feels like a decent comedy town every time I've gone down there. Like I've liked the crowds a lot.
Yeah, the crowds in San Diego are something else.
Yeah,
crowds in San Diego are something else. I love Texas. I just don't feel like there's anything there for me anymore. Right? Yeah. I was there for 27 years straight. Like I went to college in Houston. Like, I didn't leave the city.
Did you go to UH?
Yeah, okay. University of Houston. Yeah, when it was cheap. It used to be cheap.
Is it not?
It's not cheap anymore. They're part of the Big 12 now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I know.
Are you pumped on that?
I'm pumped to be a part of the Big 12, but then everyone's tuition's going to go up now.
Well, also, like, everyone's going to be, like, the Big 12's about to have 38 teams.
Really?
Well, yeah, because they're moving towards just having one super league with, like, the 30 best teams.
Yeah,
and just it's going to be like the NFL version of college football, and then everything else is going to be like fucking Vanderbilt and teams like that.
I think conference football was good for what it was back in the day, because in my opinion, it just seemed like it was kind of like evenly split. You had the Big 10, you had the Big 12, you had Pac-10 or whatever. Yeah. The things they call it, and then everything was, and then they have their own bowls, they have this, they have that.
And they're all close to each other. That's like the thing that I liked about college football was like, oh, you're playing a school that's 20 miles away from your campus. That's like, or a border war or something, Maryland, West Virginia, like all that shit was
Texas, Oklahoma was always a big game.
It's great, yeah. But now it's like, with the way the Big 12 is, or like the Big 10 just got Oregon. And they also have Maryland.
That's weird.
Okay, so Maryland's going to play Oregon. That's literally the whole fucking country.
You're gonna.
That's both oceans.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Yeah. They're not rivalries anymore.
No.
Yeah, which sucks.
Yeah, Texas and Texas A&M used to be a very big game, and then Texas A&M left the conference, so then they don't play each other anymore.
So they used to have a. There used to be. I can't remember what it was called. But there used to be a conference that was nothing but Texas teams.
Oh.
Was
that not Big 12?
It wasn't Big 12. It was before the Big 12. It was called like Stars and Bars, or I don't know what it was called.
That's very funny.
Some fucking
That'd be so funny if it was called that. Stars and Bars.
It's called some patriotic shit.
Yeah.
And it was like 10 huge Texas schools all in one.
That's good.
So Texas plays SMU and A&M and Texas Tech, all those schools.
You would think that they would do that, but
I think there's more money. There's more money in them like playing Alabama.
Yeah,
everybody wants to play Alabama every year.
Yeah,
and if not Alabama, then like how can we play Clemson or like that's what everybody's doing. Is it's all like TV rights. It's just fucking dude. It's like everything. It's like money is the driver.
Yeah,
and once they realize like I was like the biggest advocate for college players should get played or paid.
Yeah.
And I never thought of like, oh, there's another side to that coin is like, once we say, oh, it's just going to be about money, then if it's really just about money, then none of the tradition matters anymore. So that was like the first domino, and then being like, we don't really need fucking conferences, or at least the idea of like Oregon State playing. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
So now they're just like, how can we make the most amount of money?
Yeah.
And that's like a bunch of teams just left the Pac-12.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
That's interesting.
Pac-12 is not even going to exist in a year.
That's actually,
They got like fucking
sad.
picked dry by the other.
That's sad, but it's just the evolution of college sports. I was actually on the opposite end of that. I used to be like, no, they shouldn't get paid. You know what I mean? Like their education is their payment, blah, blah, blah. And then then Richard Sherman actually like talked one time about how his actual schedule was in college. If you like, not for like the football players that don't take their football seriously, but like the elite ones, and you're just like, oh, you guys really don't have time for yourselves, because you're just doing this, you're doing that, you're in the weight room, even in the off season, like you have to go to school events and do things.
Didn't he go to like a really good school?
Yeah, and he went to a really good school.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's like, it's now I'm okay with them getting paid, but then as you said, it's like now it's going. This is only the first domino to drop. Like LeBron James's kid is gonna make multi millions in college.
Yeah,
just for 1 year, because he's only gonna be there for 1 year. Why would he?
I mean, college. Yeah, you remember remember Kwame Brown?
Yeah,
yeah.
Shout out to him.
Shout
Come
out
on
to
the
Kwame.
podcast, Kwame.
I would fucking have him on in a second. He does.
I love
he
his
makes
Instagram.
content now.
I love his Instagram. Just you're like, hey boy, you stupid.
Country boy can survive,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
He's like
So
fucking.
great.
He's like on a tractor, just telling Charles Barkley to suck his dick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fucking funny.
It's because in fairness, if you look back at that whole situation, man, people were really rude about his career.
He was 17.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being 17 and Michael Jordan's like, I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't make a layup?
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened to
Yeah.
him.
Someone that it's not, and think of it this way, not just Michael Jordan, Wizards Michael Jordan, where he's old and doesn't really care that much.
He's fatter,
sadder,
and angry.
and angrier, and he's still a ball hog.
Yep.
Still very much Michael Jordan, right? And he's the GM of the team also, where it's
he's like cutting
when
guys mid-game.
he's not, when he says make this layup or you're gone, he's dead serious.
Yeah.
And you grew up watching him because you're 17, right? So you grew up and your parents were like, oh, Michael Jordan, right? For years, it was just Michael Jordan in the finals.
Yeah, when they say like don't meet your hero, they mean like because they might be shitty to you for a minute. They don't mean like because they'll become your bully, and your boss, and like derail your fucking career.
Yeah.
I mean, he had and he also he was in the league for forever.
He
actually had a good career.
There's a side by side meme of him getting yelled at by Michael Jordan yelling at him, and Kobe Bryant yelling at him. Like he played with both people. But if you look back on it, it's like, oh shit, he got to play with two of the greatest NBA players in the history of the game. Yeah. That's a solid career.
Yeah, he was in the league for like 13 years.
That's a solid career.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, and it's like, I don't know, like panelists that don't have rings either want to shit on Kwame Brown, but it's like, yeah, but why?
You think having a ring is a prerequisite to talk about sports?
No.
You got to have one.
No. Charles Barkley doesn't have one.
I know. Marino.
Right? Dan Marino doesn't have one?
Dan Marino doesn't have one.
Really?
Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl his rookie year.
Why am I surprised?
I don't know
why.
The Dolphins have never won one. Or they won them like in the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
But no, Marino went his rookie year, lost, and they're like, oh, well, he'll be back. Never went back.
Damn. I never know that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think rings matter as much anymore because I don't think these new age players care as much to win a championship. I think
it's weird. It's
like,
or I disagree. I think they care to win a championship, but they don't care about like how they win it. Like in the old days, it was like Reggie Miller would never have gone to play with Michael Jordan.
Never.
Reggie Miller wanted to beat Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Reggie Miller would not have gone
Like
to play
the
with
idea of like, it's kind of like why I don't like LeBron. It's like it's what he did to the league when he did that whole like going to Miami.
Yeah,
and it was like they
creating
were
super teams.
It was like they were like picks 1, 2, and 4 in the same draft or whatever, and now they're all on the same team. And you're like, that just kind of started it in motion where you're like, fuck, like now like every year the goddamn teams are different, and it's like it's hard to. I'm not as big a fan. I'm not a root for a guy as he moves to different teams fan. I just like the team.
Yeah,
like I like the Sixers.
Yeah,
I mean, thank God they've kept Embiid for this long, but Embiid will be gone in a year. Like if they don't win the championship.
Yeah,
Harden's going to be gone. Like
Harden's going to be gone before the season starts.
Harden's
most likely
definitely gone.
Yeah,
yeah.
Right. So I mean,
I get it.
I don't think it was LeBron though. I think it was the Lakers. I think it was those Lakers that lost to the Pistons. That because they tried to create that super team. They had Kobe, Shaq, Gary Payton, and Karl Malone.
No, but dude, those were old. But they were old.
They were old. Yes, but they were like tearing through the league before they hit the Pistons.
Yeah.
Right.
But the first super team the first super team.
The first absolute super team was the Heat. Was that like that big three of undeniable talent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like
everyone's in their prime. At that time,
you could say that they underperformed. 2 championships in 4 years. You could be like, that's not as they should have won more.
Yeah,
they were that much better than everybody else.
They were that much better than everyone else. I think that first time they lost to the Mavericks, I think the Mavericks just had like lightning in a bottle that year, where it's like even their bench was just that deep. Like their third string point guard was running circles around them on the court. Like it was
Speedy
like
Claxton.
It was like a weird thing. I don't even know who that. Who's the exactly?
He was a real guy. I don't know if he was the guy.
No.
By the way, in honor of Dirk, I'm wearing a fucking Germany shirt right now.
Okay, dope. Yeah.
Not really in honor of Dirk.
I like Dirk. I'm happy he had one. I never thought he would ever get more than one after he won the one.
No.
Yeah, because Dirk's not one of those people that care to win more rings. I think he was just happy to play the game.
I think he also just wanted to. Did he leave?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess the door's open. Yeah, he was also a one-team guy. I don't know. I like to think I would be a one-team guy.
Yeah, if
I was a really good athlete.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't be a one-team guy. I would go make money.
Well, would you rather be a champion? Would you? Oh, that's the thing. Would you have rather been a one-team guy and make so much and make like the max player?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have gone to different teams, but you're like multiple, like you've run multiple rings?
I like how you're making my podcast your podcast right
sorry.
now. I like how
tough choice for Kazeem Rahman, baby. Every day is a tough choice.
Hey, it's me back again to ruin the flow of the podcast by asking you to like this video on YouTube, leave me a comment, and subscribing to my page. It means a lot, guys. I'm not going to ask you a third time on the podcast. There's only 2 of these per episode now. Please help me out. The podcast is free. This is the one thing you guys can do to help me get it to a place where I can be famous and never talk to you again. Thanks so much. Liking, leaving a comment, and subscribing right here on YouTube. Back to the show.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I would be a one-team guy and be a max player. I just like to Damian Lillard. But the perfect example.
He's leaving though.
Finally. But that's only because that's because they disrespect him to an extent where it's like you're telling me that, you know, I think he's leaving because they want to move on, not because he wants to move on. Because
they might want to rebuild.
They want to rebuild. If they want to rebuild, Damian Lillard is still someone. He's going to be playing for at least another 5 years. trade him for somebody.
Yeah,
Right?
they should have probably traded him sooner.
He has a no trade clause,
Yeah.
so he can't say anything. He has no say where he goes. He can tell them, "Hey, I would love to go to Miami," but
It's so nice to talk sports on this podcast. I have my other friends on, and Brad wants to talk about like musical theater and shit. And
I don't know anything about me. I barely know things about sports, but I like watching it. I'm not like, listen, I don't know who the Rockets drafted. I'm a Rockets fan. I have no idea. Like, I know there's a guy named Jalen. I only know that because he's dating this Instagram model right now.
Oh wait, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Like she's like 38.
Yeah,
she's
like,
fucking hot though.
She's fine as fuck.
That's good for him.
Yes, good for him, but he's 21. And it's like,
Have you ever done that?
No.
Date a way up?
No.
Yeah.
No. I never even thought about it.
I did it once.
No, the way you said that is like, listen, Kazeem, I've lived a life.
Like I lived a life. I lived a life.
That's so funny.
It was it's wild. You learn so much. You know? They're like it's like a shaman that sucks your dick. They bring you to a new plane. It's great.
That's so funny. I don't know how to respond to that. You're like, it's like because you're looking off into the space. Like you weren't even looking at me.
No, it is. It's like, you know, they're like gatekeepers to the next realm. So and it's, you know, what do you call the people when you go to Everest and they kind of walk you through the towns? Is it
Shamans?
Sherpa? It's Sherpa.
Sherpa, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's like a Sherpa.
I know what you're talking about. Okay. I guess. I mean, the problem with him being 21 is like, yo, bro, like you're young. Like you just got, no, because he got drafted when he was like 19. So yeah, no, he's been in the league for like 2 years or so.
Yeah,
21. He's seen enough I
think he's seen enough. I don't think it's like I got no problem with it. You know, it's.
I don't have a problem.
I know
with
we're not
it.
supposed to. It's like if it was like a 42-year-old, a 38-year-old dude dating a 21-year-old chick, I'd be like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah.
It's 26.
But when it's a guy, you're like, come on, bro.
Come on, but way to go,
all
bro.
right, you know you're the champ, right? You know you're the champ.
This is wrong. This is wrong to say this.
There are weird double standards that I'm perfectly fine with. There are double standards in this world that I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah, of course. That is definitely one of them.
Perfectly fine. Yeah. I don't know. What else about sports? I don't know. Who do you think is going to replace Shannon Sharp?
They already replaced him.
Really? They've already announced?
Richard Sherman.
Really?
And
okay, I heard that.
And then some lady. The lady that got kicked off of ESPN, that they like had a thing in her room.
What do you mean a thing in her room?
They bugged her room to try to get her fired.
Oh, wow.
Rachel Nichols. She was like,
that's why she got fired?
She got fired because she was on tape being like, don't give whoever the black lady was on ESPN, who now is not on ESPN anymore. They're like, they were going to like replace Rachel Nichols with, I can't fucking think of her name. Some lady.
Yeah.
And it was like, she was like, don't fucking give her my job. And they were like, racist, you're fired. But they were also like bugging her room apparently.
Oh.
And like tapping her phone and shit. Like really like devious stuff.
That's devious stuff.
Because they were just trying to like, I guess like clean house or whatever. But I don't think she's like
a bad person.
No, not at all. Yeah. Like, I like Rachel Nichols too. So
okay.
She used to do the NBA show.
NBA Countdown?
No, it was the like in the jump zone.
I have no idea.
Time to Jump.
I didn't watch.
It wasn't called Time to Jump.
I didn't watch ESPN like that. I never really had cable like that. I only watched stuff on YouTube.
WNBA, should they lower the basket so the ladies can dunk?
No.
Why would you say no?
No. It's not basketball then.
If they can dunk?
It's not. That's like saying the Women's World Cup for FIFA, should they expand the goal so the ladies can kick it in so they have no.
What if they just make the ball in the WNBA a little bit smaller?
It's already a little smaller.
I know. I was trying to trap you.
No, you can't. I know sports, son. It's already a little smaller. You know how I know that? Because one time I wanted a basketball and my parents bought me a WNBA basketball, and you know something, you just go out with your friends and hey guys, I got this new basketball, and they're like, you got a female's ball. I'm like, God damn it, fuck. Now we gotta kept the ball because they weren't gonna return it.
You wouldn't watch. When's the last time you watched the WNBA game?
I don't
TV?
Watch it. It's bad basketball.
Of course it is.
It's bad basketball
but
right
if you
now.
If you could have half the league fucking airwalking and dunking on a lady and then like kind of like hanging on the rim so her pussy hits the lady in the face a little bit like the dudes do.
Yes.
And it became a more aggressive game where you can dominate the other team. I mean, the only dunks in the NBA happen when it's like they have to clear a runway. The other team goes like, I think someone's going to try to dunk. Like they just let it. It's like becomes like a Globetrotters game.
A thing, yeah. Anytime I've seen the dunk in the NBA, I'm like, why didn't they stop her?
Two players in the other team like lay down like tables so that the player can jump on their back to get it. You're like, this fucking sucks. Why wouldn't they dunk?
Think of it this way. In the WNBA's defense, because I don't like the WNBA as it is now, but that's fine, only because the WNBA is where the NBA was in like the 70s.
Yeah.
Right? Where if you go watch NBA games in the 70s, you're like, this is boring as fuck. Right? Their game has to evolve. Just like, think of it this way. If you watch the FIFA World Cup for women's is happening right now.
Yeah.
Right? Nigeria's out, so I don't care. US is out also, so I really don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
But the FIFA World Cup for women's has only been around since 1992. And the FIFA World Cup for men's have been around since the 60s. So there's just been an investment in men being good at sports for their countries for leaps and bounds for years. If you go watch college basketball for women's, it's way more exciting than the WNBA because these young girls grew up on Kobe. These young girls grew up on LeBron, right? They didn't grow up on like Cheryl Swoops. Oh, all respect to her. She played for the Houston.
Like you keep deferring to like French accent and Cheryl Swoops.
Come on the podcast, guys. Right?
I actually have both of them lined up. They're going to be my first duo interview.
That would be, you don't want that. Cheryl Swoops going to slap the shit out of French accent.
I'm going to bleep out his name.
Oh, that's so
I'm
funny.
probably going to bleep his name out.
That's so funny.
That's just going to be more editing work. Maybe I'll leave it in.
But yeah, I don't think you should lower. I don't think you should change because it's the game of basketball. And if you lower the thing, that's not basketball. If we're being fair, that is not basketball. I think we just have to wait until like our daughters, or if we have kids, until like daughters that are from like our friends' daughters are old enough to start playing basketball. Because then,
but they'll never be able to dunk.
You don't know that. They weren't dunking in the 70s like that.
The ladies?
No, the men. They weren't dunking. They weren't allowed to dunk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They weren't.
That's fair.
But like the women physically can't dunk.
You don't know that.
No, I do know that though.
Not now. They can't dunk now.
Yeah.
But I think if you take away the dunks and you just add more fundamentals, you add more excitement.
Oh my
God. Then I think it'd be fine. Just like I don't mind that these guys are switching teams all the time, because if the NBA was smart and they stopped trying to focus on, let's talk about, it's only about Steph or it's only about LeBron. If you just focus on basketball, then the game becomes more global. If you just focus on basketball, because they're done making money in the U.S., right? They've made all the money. It's a cap now. You want China. You want Africa. You want the continent, right? You want Nigeria. You want South Africa. You want Australia. Because if you go to the Olympics, U.S. almost lost that gold medal cup. Kevin Durant was just like, give me the ball. And he just started shooting it and making but they almost lost.
And they did lose years before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
It wasn't the fucking dream team just beating Uruguay by 80 points.
Because Europe is just better now. Because they invested in their kids being able to win at basketball. Just like US now is investing in their teams to be able to win at soccer. Right? Because the US women's have won 4 World Cup. They're back-to-back World Cup champions. That's why it's such a surprise that they lost this time.
Yeah.
Because they won the last 2 World Cups. And World Cups every 4 years. And US have been, like, when I say domination, it's domination, if that's even a word.
You know what's weird is, like, I'm a very patriotic person. I don't really root for the U.S. in international competitions usually. I usually root for the country where the penalty will be worse for the people who lose.
Yeah.
Like I remember like when the U.S. women were playing like Iran.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's 12-0 and, you know, Megan Rapinoe is telling like the goalie to suck it after her 3rd goal, and I'm just like, that
happened?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm just like, that lady's gonna get caned when she goes. Like, fucked up things are gonna happen.
Yes, that happens. International soccer, you would be surprised. People get death threats.
People die
if they. I don't know if they die, but like
the goalie for fucking Brazil, was it Brazil or Colombia?
It was one of them.
The Colombian goalie, like in '92.
Died. Got murdered?
Somebody killed him.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
They take it very seriously.
Yes.
Because it's the pride of the country at hand.
Yeah.
And it's like
they really love soccer.
They love it.
They don't even call it soccer.
Yeah, they call it football.
They call it a much cooler name, football. Yeah. We call our favorite sport football because
it's like
football is better.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but back to the point, I don't think lowering the goal would make it. I don't think lowering the goal would make it more exciting, only because they still have to do cool dunks. Like,
okay, so if
they're just jumping.
Listen, this is such a bad argument. Look, I try to watch WNBA games. I love sports. Like when it's not football season, I'm like, I'll watch.
You don't
anything.
like it when it's like 40-20?
No.
At the end?
What I don't like a lady standing too far under the basket to do a layup, so she just shoots the ball and it ends up like further from the basket. Like the way I used to shoot when I was 7.
Yeah.
No, when I see that, I go, fuck, man, lower the rim so this 6'6" white chick can rim rock.
No.
That's what I want.
I think it's just...
I think it'll unlock... I mean, here's the other thing. Like, have you ever been to I've been to a WNBA game. I've never been to a WNBA game. If you pay an extra $20, they let you play in the 4th quarter. Like, or the second half. There's no people there. Mm-hmm. It's not a popular league.
Yeah.
It gets subsidized by the NBA. The only reason it exists is because the NBA keeps it going.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to do something... I don't know. Like, you have to do something to stand out.
The WNBA is definitely... There have been multiple articles, so I'm not wrong on this. They have never been profitable.
Yeah.
Ever. So,
look, baseball... I was against baseball putting a pitch clock in for the pitchers. I was like, look...
They have it now?
Now they have it this year.
Oh.
Like,
how's that going now?
Well, it's crazy. So my wife was in New York... Well, we were both in New York, and I was like, we were going to a Mets game, and I was like, I'm going to be like an hour late. I'll just meet you at the seats. Being an hour late to a baseball game, I'm like, I'll get there by the end of the 1st inning. It's a slow sport.
Yeah.
I got there, it was like the fucking 5th inning.
Oh.
Like now with the pitch clock, like the games are 2 hours.
Do you know why?
Why?
It's a business decision. It's all about money.
That's why
advertisers.
Well, I think the lowering of the rims is the same thing. It's a business decision.
No, it's not.
I'm telling you.
Just like this was like a couple years ago. The NBA was testing out shorter quarters in preseason because they want their games to be shorter to fit advertisers. Right? They wanted to see, can we make this game 2 hours, or can we make it exactly 2.5 hours? So instead of like, the NBA finals, and then whatever time you have, left to do, analysis or something like that. Yeah, they tested it. It's all money. It had nothing to do with making the game better.
Baseball's the same way. They just young people were like don't have the attention spans for it. You gotta make it quicker.
I remember we did a game during the World Series and the Dodgers were playing, and we did a game. We did a comedy show during the World Series and the Dodgers were playing. We lowered the volume of the TV. Everyone's got angry. We had the comedy show, and then the game was still playing when we ended the comedy show. That was like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The game was still playing. They were still playing the game.
That's of course. They used to be like 3.5 hour games.
Yeah. That's a long time.
One of my favorite memories as a kid was my dad took me and my grandpa to a Phillies Dodgers game in Philly, and it went 18 innings.
Wow.
And by the end of so it was like a 7-hour game.
Yeah.
And by the end, it was like 1:00 in the morning. And we were like, I was sitting like right behind the fucking ump. Like they let us come all the way down.
Because everyone was leaving?
There was like maybe 300 people left in the stadium.
Oh, wow.
To watch the Phillies win.
Wow.
It was fucking badass.
I've never been to a Dodgers game. I've been to a Houston Astros game. That was
Did you go to the Astrodome?
No, that wasn't Astrodome. That was Minute Maid Park.
Okay.
Yeah. This was when it was free. It was a work thing. They just like, hey, we're gonna lots of weirdly enough, a lot of baseball teams do that to fill their stadiums.
Yeah, they have 81 games a year. It's like they'll be like, hey, if you want your corporate team, just everyone, it's only like $25 a ticket or something like that, and then you get unlimited nachos in your section or something like that. It's interesting. It's so wild to think of, like, I've probably said this in the podcast before, but like when you really think about what baseball is, you're just watching someone go to work. It's like if someone like if I'm working remotely at my job doing sales and someone just bought a $5 ticket to sit on that couch and eat popcorn and watch me work. Like, they're not running except for like maybe 20 seconds the entire time. When they're batting, it's the batter versus the pitcher.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just kind of hanging out.
You're just watching.
Yeah. So it's not really that different from just watching me take phone calls and try to sell software.
I never thought of it like that.
You're paying to go, like, unlike other sports where you're like engaging in athletic competition.
It's 7:30.
We got to wrap it. Well, we're right at
an hour. Oh, there we go, baby. And I came late. Go ahead.
Dude, I'm not finishing that fucking story. The middle of the story, you went,
no, I didn't.
It's an hour.
Because no, yeah, they're paying you. I never thought of it like that, because I will say this: watching baseball, I didn't get it for so many years.
Yeah,
I was like, game is dumb. It's very boring. But then when I finally went to a baseball game, I was like, oh, okay, I understand this. I understand the camaraderie. I understand you go with some friends. You guys get some hot dogs. You get like some drinks, some nachos. Like it's a great
like third date.
Yeah, it's a great time. And then everyone left in like the fifth inning. It was so hilarious.
There's no reason to hang out for the end.
There was no reason to stay.
It's like a picnic. I thought they could have made the games longer. They could have been like, you know what? We're going to have mandatory 15-minute breaks between each inning. And you literally have to bring a picnic basket and you just hang out for the whole 8 hours.
I disagree.
You lay out, you take naps.
I think what's wrong with the MLB that I don't think they're ever going to fix is one thing. Their union is trash. Right?
Okay.
The players union is one of the weakest ever. Right? That's why it's weird to say that the Astros won with such a low budget. Like, they were winning with, like, they just were like, hey, we're going to find people to pay the least amount of money to, and then we're just going to hope for the best. And then they just kept striking lightning, right?
Yeah.
That's one, because their union is trash, right? There's no minimum. There's no maximum either, which is cool, right? You can, if you're a baseball player and you're one of the best, you can get paid ridiculous amounts of money, right? But the whole thing about there's no, like, I don't know how to explain it. There's no, every football field is the same amount, is the same size.
Yeah.
In every football stadium. That's not the case with baseball.
Yeah, there's like home field advantage and like you gotta.
Well, no, because the fields are different sizes.
Yeah.
Where some fields are harder to hit a home run because it's just legit larger.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's the character of the.
No.
You got the green monster in Boston.
Why is that?
You got to hit it higher.
Why is that a thing?
Minute Maid Park had like a real like short porch.
Yeah.
There's easy to hit home runs out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Right? And also one thing with Houston is that they got in trouble for this. They would close the Minute Maid Park you can close the ceiling because sometimes it rains.
Yeah.
So you can close the ceiling. So sometimes the Astros would just close the ceiling because the fans would be so loud that the pitcher couldn't hear anything. And
they're cheaters. They're
Yeah, of
fucking
course.
famous cheaters.
No. That's not cheating. That's not cheating.
But they also cheated.
It's home court advantage.
But they also cheated.
They beat on a drum one time. You still have to hit.
They
Fuck
fucking
outta here,
cheated,
dog.
dude.
No. First of all, okay, did Tom Brady cheat then?
Yeah.
Okay, then fine. Okay, that's fine.
But like in a lesser way.
No, shut the
In a
fuck
lesser
up.
way.
No. Not when you can grip a football, like when you need, like, yes, right? It's just, listen, it's a little space.
Baseball's also weird too because it's like if an old pitcher has like a piece of sandpaper in his hat, you go, oh, he's a wily veteran. But if Jose Canseco shoots steroids in his asshole, we have to hate him?
Yeah.
It's like
Makes
some
sense.
cheating is considered gamesmanship.
Yeah.
Before we go,
Yes.
by the way, I never introduced you on the podcast.
That's fine.
All right.
That's perfectly fine. I like it better that way.
Can you see a scar on my face right here? Do you see that? Like right under my nose?
It seemed like you rubbed something right here, like Vaseline or something like that.
I did before.
Yeah.
So I got like I don't know, I'm self-conscious about it.
Yeah,
This was the first video podcast.
It just seemed like you were like you shaved or something, and you just rubbed something on your mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, I got a mole removed.
Oh no, I don't see a scar.
Okay, good.
It just looked like you shaved and you rubbed something on your.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'll probably just have
You're
to
good.
keep this 5 o'clock shadow for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
You should go. You have a show.
I do have a
But
show.
before you go, do you want to tell I have this gets about 5 million listeners an episode.
Oh.
So where do you want to direct all the Hellwig heads? To
follow me
you.
online, Kazeem Comedy, Kazeem. If you're in the Los Angeles area, we have a show every Thursday at the Nightcap in Burbank. And I have a podcast on all platforms called Tough Choice with Kazeem Rahman. Eric's been on there. He'll be there very soon. I need to hit you up again. And yeah, that's it, man. It's really nothing to support comedy. So follow us online, subscribe to our podcast. All of that is free. So please do that.
You're also the first person to sit in that chair. I built that chair.
Really?
I didn't build it.
Yeah, but you bought it and you put it together.
and then I put it together.
Yeah, you bought it and
yeah,
put it
you're the
together.
first
I
one.
get it. This is nice.
If you see those
nice little
shitty
thing.
chairs when you walked in that were in the fucking
Yes. I
that's
saw
what
those.
everybody else was sitting in.
Thank
So
you.
you're living like a fucking king.
I'm so bougie. Like in my mind, I'm like, I should have like raised the lumbar support a little bit. Cause like you got this right here, this neck thing
Is that good?
is a game changer.
Yeah. Do I have? I don't have one.
Exactly. No.
Fuck.
Yeah. Take this one. Oh, this is a different. Oh, these are different.
The
chairs.
different ones. That one was cheaper.
Oh.
This one was like 120. This one was 200.
Oh,
But I actually
bro.
think that one's as comfortable.
Sit in this chair, like raise the lumbar just a little bit because we're old. So
Yeah.
you'll get what I'm saying. Raise it like let your lower back just sit in, and then just right here, you don't know that you need this until you're using it.
All right.
It's good.
Hey, look, next episode, if I'm sitting in that chair and the guest is in the black and blue one,
Yeah. Guess would just be on the floor
or
You just
lying
wanna-
on the
Yeah,
table.
you just switch chairs. You just want to listen. This is
Well, what happens if a third person comes in? Where the fuck do they go?
on the couch. That's fine.
Maybe I have
Just
to
move the-
change the angle.
Yeah, just move it back. That's fine.
I'm gonna do a.
That's
I'm gonna
fine.
paint the
or
wall.
you can just do the couch and a chair.
Yeah, then I feel like it's like a talk show.
That's fine.
I'm like, so
If there's
tell
three
me,
people.
tell me about coming in from Minnesota, huh?
Yeah. James Corden did that.
I gotta set people up for their fucking bits.
Basically.
I don't want to do that shit.
Listen, I would remember when we all used to watch Comics Unleashed and we were like, oh wow, he's such a good host. He's really setting them up. And then you realize, oh, he's just asking them, he just asked them the premise of their joke. It's so weird.
I like Norm Macdonald had a joke about like Byron Allen setting up someone with a joke being like, so I hear you're growing older. Just like the dumbest, like most obvious.
So sad. But when you're young and you don't know comedy, or if you just don't know comedy at all, you're like, oh wow, this is such a fun show. Everyone's so funny. Everyone has jokes.
To most people, that's what it is. And you know how much money he made on that fucking show?
A lot. Syndicate.
He almost bought the fucking Broncos.
Billy.
Yes, Byron Allen's like almost a billionaire.
Yeah, he owns the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is
That's
wild.
wild.
You got to go.
Yeah, I do have to go. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
This was great. We have to do this again. And then we can just talk sports. I'm perfectly fine doing a whole hour just arguing about sports, and I know nothing really about sports.
Look, you're my first guest to just talk sports the whole time, which was fun. I don't know how they're going to like it. But who gives a fuck what they want?
Yeah, we're artists.
All right, man. See you later.
Thanks for having me.